We were what would be termed ward missionaries with the LDS Church, and just became friends from there.
You indicated that you were friends with Mr. for a number of years. Is that correct? Okay.
Yeah. He wanted me along the way. This went on for a couple years, but there were times he wanted me to be in love with him, and I said, no, I'm not in love with you. I mean, we went to dinner.
And finished up the relationship. Did you do anything from that point forward?
What do you mean?
Did you get any no contact orders or anything like that?
Yeah.
Could you let's talk about that.
Go ahead.
Why did you get a no contact order? Was that contact order extended?
Yes.
Do you know that when it was extended to?
I believe it expires in April. Not totally sure.
Of what year?
2023.
Okay. And since you were since the protection order had been issued, had contact with you?
Yes.
Okay, let's talk about that. Do you remember the specific dates of every one of these contacts?
I don't remember specific dates, on or about, maybe with some of them.
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't catch what you just said. There were 5?
There was, let's see, I'm just trying to picture it in my mind. So there was maybe 6 that he had to have pressed send 6 times. So the first one said something like, I need now. The second one said, sorry for the double send. I didn't intend for a violation. I didn't mean to harm you. They extended the protection order, maybe not in that order, but something to that effect. The things that, a couple of things bothered me about those messages. The first one was, I need now. That makes no sense. I don't even know what it means. I could guess, and he was trying to say.
I don't want you to speculate.
Okay.
I don't know, is there an objection?
Yeah, as to, she obviously doesn't know what the message was.
Sustained as to speculation.
You indicated that there were 5 messages sent. Who did they come from?
Ryan.
How do you know that?
Because it was his phone number.
Okay, and how did you have his phone number?
It had just been in my phone. Yeah, I deleted his contact information, but I remembered his phone number from our previous contacts.
You've had previous contact
Yes.
with him on that number.
But the other thing about that too, if you don't mind, if I can proceed a little bit.
Well, I'm going to object. There's no question pending, Your Honor.
Sustained.
Why did those text messages concern you?
Well, for a violation later of some emails, he claimed that it was a fat thumb accidental text. And if you look at those text messages, they came in May. And our previous interaction through text on that line was in March. How do you accidentally text somebody that you haven't texted in 3 months?
Okay. Okay, can you describe those emails?
Those were invitations to his court date for the violations of those. He called it an accidental fat thumb text or something. I'm not sure. It was a calendar invitation, and then a couple days later there was an update to the calendar invitation. I looked at both. I'm really not sure what the update was on the second invitation.
Okay. Now, did something occur in July of 2022 involving your daughter?
Yes, she was leaving that morning, headed, I guess that would be north, and then she turned east to head up to Daisy's to hit the highway.
Object, Your Honor, on the basis of foundation.
Sustained.
I can only speculate.
Okay. Let's talk about September. Did something occur at Verizon, in the parking lot of Verizon?
Yes.
Can you describe that?
Yes. So I had contemplated on getting a new phone because of several things that indicated that he might be following me. He might be what some people might call stalking.
Okay. I'm going to stop you. So you were contemplating getting a new phone. What did you do?
Well, I went to the Verizon store a couple of times, as a matter of fact. I went there one just to get the cost of a phone and the plan and what it would take. And then I went there again and I sat in the car. Is this where you want me to expound on the situation?
Yeah, what happened when you were sitting in your car? at
Okay,
Verizon?
so I was sitting in my car, just contemplating the whole situation, contemplating the violations, contemplating where he had shown up and I had been, and I didn't understand how it was happening. And so I sat in my car and it was running because I was still debating on whether I needed to get a new phone or what was going on. My head was down looking at my phone, looking at my bank account, just thinking about everything. And I look up and there's a Walmart sack sitting on the hood of my car.
Okay, so when you saw the Walmart sack, what did you do?
Well, I just sat there and I looked out both my windows and looked around and wondered where in such a short amount of time that my head was down that I didn't see where they even came from.
Okay, what happened after that?
Well, I sat there and I, again, contemplated on what it was and where it came from and who left it. And so I got out and I peeked in the sack and I saw that there was 2 packages wrapped in butcher paper. Maybe there was a red ribbon around them. His handwriting was on the cards. And so I got back in the car because I didn't know what to do. I didn't know whether to just grab it or open it or keep it, or I didn't know what to do. So I got back in my car, pondered again about what I should do. I'd already called the cops a number of times. I didn't want to be a nuisance, so I wasn't sure whether I should call or not. And so I got back out of my car again, looked at the packages, kind of felt them a little bit, trying to decide what to do. Got back in my car, picked up the phone to call the police, hung up once, just because I didn't want to be a pain. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what was in the packages. And
So I'm going to stop here. What happened while you were waiting, while you were trying to determine what to do with these packages?
Right, so I picked up my phone to call the cops on the second time, and as I picked up my phone, he walked over to my car, picked up the packages off my car, and walked off.
Now you say he. We need to be clear because this is being
It was
recorded.
Ryan.
It was Ryan?
I have pictures.
Okay. What did he do after he took the package?
Just walked back to his truck.
Okay, and what did you do at that time?
That's when I called, well, I was potentially on the phone with the cops, and then that's when they showed up, and I told them what happened.
Okay. Did you... Okay. Has he ever given you packages any other time? Has he ever provided you gifts at any other time while the no contact order was in place?
Yes.
How did that come about?
He has left numerous packages with my mom and dad, going to their residence in the middle of the night and leaving stuff on their porch with letters that contained suicide notes. There's pictures of my children. There's frames. There's cutting board. There's stuff that he does not have permission to be using. There's notes with stories that are completely made up.
Okay, I'm going to stop you there. How did you know that these packages came from Ryan?
Because it was
Well, I'm
handwriting.
going to object, Your Honor, as to relevancy. I mean, these folks apparently have known each other for several years, and there's no context for this stuff that she's talking about now. This is not in the affidavit of probable cause.
And the packages that were delivered to your parents, where do your parents live?
Bingham.
Is that
Idaho.
in Bingham County?
Yeah, just south of Pocatello.
Okay. And the Davenports, where do they live? Is that here?
Wapello, that's in Bingham County too.
Bingham County? Okay.
And actually, I think I just misspoke. My parents live in Ingham, which is in Bannock County.
Okay. You indicated you got a firearm and pepper spray.
Yeah.
Why?
To defend myself. I mean, if he feels like he can walk right up to my car twice with me sitting in it, he's not afraid of me or anybody else.
Are you in fear of him?
Absolutely.
Okay. Your Honor, I have no further questions for this witness.
Cross-examine, Mr. Smith.
Thank you, Your Honor. Miss, would it be fair to say that all the incidents that you talk about as far as Jensen's Grove, the Verizon store parking lot, those are public places, correct?
Yeah.
Now, you indicate that you thought you should get a new phone because something must be going on with your phone. Did you get a new phone?
Yeah.
When you got the new phone, did you have your old phone checked either by phone personnel or by the sheriff's department or police department, checked to see if there actually was a tracking device or some kind of tracking enabled on that phone?
Yeah, I gave him my phone. Yeah.
Did they check to see if there was a tracking app enabled on it?
They checked, and there was not, but they did
Okay,
give
thanks.
a suspicion
So
of
you
what it might have
said
been.
you said that you got a new car because you felt like there was a tracking device on your car. Now, when you switched cars, did you have your old car checked by law enforcement or by a car dealership to see if there was a tracking device on it?
On the old one, no, but I just was trying to figure out what was going on how he kept showing up where I was when he didn't know I was there.
After the civil protection order was issued, and I think it was April of this year, do you have any documentation, any pictures that you've taken, or any videos that you've taken, or any observations you've made that Mr. following you as you travel around Bingham County?
I have pictures from the Verizon store, yes.
Okay, in the public parking lot.
Correct.
Okay, what about en route or on the streets or traveling around? Have you ever observed Ryan? Do you have any documentation that he has been following you in a vehicle?
I have a Ring doorbell camera video of him dropping off a gift at an elderly neighbor. She's one of my best friends. She's 86. I was helping be her caretaker when her two caretakers were out of town, and the Ring doorbell shows him walking up to the door, leaving a bag of pears and a note addressed to my elderly neighbor and her son, which he's never met and I don't know how he would know he even lives there.
Is she included on the civil protection order?
No.
Since the civil protection order was issued, do you have any video footage, any photographs, or any other kind of documentation that Mr. is following you while you drive around?
No, it's just,
Thank you.
It's inklings.
With regards to the obtaining of the civil protection order, you went through that process with Susan's help, is that what I understand?
I went in and got the paperwork from her.
Okay.
She did not help me fill it out.
The supporting or the application supporting the obtaining of the civil protection order was only offered by you.
Correct.
And was it the truth?
To my knowledge, yes.
Okay. So your testimony would be that everything you said in there is the truth and is exactly what was the nature of your relationship with Ryan and with what was happening that made you feel like you needed to get a civil protection order?
Part of the questions were answered based on personal opinion, but most of it was fact.
During the time either before or after obtaining the civil protection order, have you ever made a report to authorities that Ryan has aggressed towards you?
Physically aggressed? No. Verbally? Yes.
Now, as far as verbally aggressed, is that part of the communications that you've been talking about in court today?
In the text messages? Yes.
Okay.
But most of it was fact.
You testified that, it was early in your testimony today, that you texted him, I think, and told him, say what you mean and mean what you say. Did you send a text that contained that phrase to him?
Yes.
And what was the rest of the text or that series of texts that you sent him? What was all that about?
That's a pretty vague question. I was telling him I was done with the relationship because I had been piecing together the past few years and in the current instances and realized, in my opinion, what was happening, and I was trying to find a way out. And so I said, I am done.
Okay, and so how many texts did you send in that series? Was it all one?
I was on a separate day. I don't remember.
I'm sorry?
That was on a separate day than the 83 original messages. I don't recall how many. That was one single one that I said, I am done.
I understood that the 83, okay, I guess I'm confused. I don't know what day you sent him 83 texts, or did he send?
I didn't send them, he did.
Okay, so I don't know why you're bringing that up, but my question is, you were having a relationship with him, correct? Up until April of this year.
Depends on your definition of a relationship.
Now, let's talk about that a little bit. You testified that you never were in love with Ryan, is that right?
Right.
Were you involved in a physical, sexual relationship with Ryan up until April of this year?
Yeah.
Okay, but you don't love him, and you never did.
Not in an in-love way, no. I'm a loving person, but...
But you don't love him, and you never did.
Not in an in-love way, no. I'm a loving person, but no, I'm not in love with him, and I made that very clear a number of times.
Okay. And you continued with the physical sexual relationship with him?
Yeah.
I'm sorry?
Yes.
Okay. And when you said, I am done, I guess first of all, have you ever texted him that you were done before this time in April?
No.
Okay. Have you ever texted or communicated to him over the years that you wanted the relationship to stop or the relationship should stop?
No, because it wasn't until later when I figured out what was going on is when I wanted out.
Okay. And when you informed him that you were done, was that about the same time? You say it was a different day than the day you got the 83 messages. Was the day you got the 83 messages the day you got the CPO?
Repeat that?
Yeah. Was the day you received the 83 text messages from, I don't know, midnight until 3 in the morning or whatever, was that the same day that you obtained the CPO?
It was in the next couple of days, yes.
Can you give me an idea of the chronology of when you told him you were done, when you told him say what you mean what you say, and then getting the CPO? Just kind of give me that.
I'm going to have to think back on that.
So they know what day it was. Did they take screenshots of it or anything? Do you know?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Did you take screenshots of those messages? Mm-hmm. Do you still have them?
Yeah.
Okay. So you can get the date on those, right?
Yeah.
Okay. But you don't know when those 83 that day, that kind of landmark day with the 83 messages.
It was the end of February for the 83 messages, maybe around the 25th. I'm not on or about, I'm not sure.
So it was a couple months before you got the CPO.
The 83 messages?
Yeah.
No, it came, so I got them at the end of February, and then it was granted shortly after that, and then there was a period of time where they extended it for a year.
Okay. And you don't remember when you sent him the message saying you were done?
No.
And is that still
Not
on your
off the top of
phone?
my head.
Is it still on your phone?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you show that to law enforcement?
That one I don't recall.
But you definitely recall sending them that.
Yeah.
And it was at a different time than you sent him the message saying, mean what you say or say what you mean. Those were different times.
Yeah.
So there was this pattern of communication between you and him leading up until the time you received this civil protection order, correct?
What do you mean by pattern of communication?
Well, you guys were going back and forth with text messages during that time.
Well, yeah, there was a period of a few days where I didn't respond.
Okay. After the 83 messages, but before you got the CPO?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay. So you haven't seen him following you. On that bouquet, do you remember what the card, or when it said Blackfoot flowers or something like that, was there a message on that card?
It just said, "Happy birthday, Samantha."
Was it signed by anybody?
It was from Blackfoot Flower Deliveries typed at the bottom.
Okay. So there's no handwriting recognition on that?
No.
Did Ryan ever acknowledge determination of the relationship to you?
Did he ever say, "We're dating and you're my girlfriend"? No.
Did he ever acknowledge to you after you sent him the messages, at least this year, I am done, I'm in that thing, did he ever acknowledge back to you that say, I realize our relationship is over?
In roundabout way, during the 83 text messages, it was, you're going to have to pay for this, and you have a lot of making up to do, and there was indications in that of before it ended, I had things to take care of.
Okay. So he was clearly communicating to you that he was hurt.
I guess it depends on your definition of hurt.
I don't know, I'm asking you.
Your Honor, I'm going to object as to speculation as to Mr. Rick's state of mind at that time.
Sustained.
Did you have any physical contact with him after the date of the 83 messages? Any sexual contact?
No.
Did you have any personal contact with him? Go out to dinner, anything like that?
After the messages?
After that 83
No.
message time?
No.
Okay. How about after the time when you sent him the message saying, I am done? Did you have any personal contact? Did you guys meet up to discuss things or anything like that? No, and no physical activity?
No.
Okay. Those are all the questions I have on cross, Your Honor.
Redirect, Mr. Peterson.
No redirect, Your Honor.
You may step down, Ms.